changing our lifestyle, definitely we can reduce the carbon contribution from each nation.
We are lacking knowledge our surroundings. Namma sutta mukta. It's very unfortunate. The living things around us, a part of the environment, starting from germs, worms, plants and animals. Our ancestors didn't know much about germs, I'm sure. It's the latest discovery. But certainly they were very much appreciative of things around, living things around. ನನ್ನ ಮನೆ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪುರೋಹಿತರು ಎರಡು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾನ್ಸಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸಾಂಸ್ಕ್ರಿಟ್. ನಾವು ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಪಶು ಅದು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾಶ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಯಶ್ಚಿತ್ತ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ಅಸ್. we are destroying for roads, industry, whatnot. In a way, it's a greedy world. I am a son of a farmer. I am afraid to say my children know how to sow and get a plant. It's unfortunate. ನನ್ನ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 3-4 ಜನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳಿಬೇಕು ಗಿಡ ಸ್ಪ್ರೌಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತಾನೆ ಅಂತ. ಅವರು ನನ್ನ ಪಾಟಿಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ನೀರು ಹಾಕಿ ಸೀಡ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ ನನಗೆ ತಂದು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ. It's unfortunate. All of us should know. ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ ವೆಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. Everyone knows about how to plant a seed. He knows the plant around him. He knows the birds around him. He goes to forest once in a while. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಯಾರು ಪ್ರಕೃತಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಕಾಳಜಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಗಿಡ ನೆಡೋದು ಮೊದಲು ಕಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಗಿಡ ಬೇಕು. ಗಿಡ ನೆಡಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಹೇಳಿ. Basically, we are all children of farmers, but we have forgotten one thing. So at each individual level, we have the answer for this. To live a simple life. That's why we have invented so many lifestyle diseases. So the green, everyone, people say green, but we have, I think we have not hit the basics. Our ancestors had a very good knowledge about the nature. They preserved it, they cultivated it. The ultimate message is the whole world is aware of it. There are policies to conserve, to propagate green, but institution and most important, individual level, this has to take a shape. The message should go to the individual. Every child should know what a plant is. So with this Environment Day, it should not be mere a program conducting, enjoying for half an hour and just like Vanamotsava did in our school days. It didn't make an impact.
The sea level has increased by as much as 10 to 25 centimeters, and the forecast that the sea level will rise another 50 centimeters in another 86 years' time.
The poor don't have the capacity, don't have the means to be in a good position when the dangerous climate change hits. They live in neighborhoods that are ill-equipped. Their houses are less protected. So when there is a crisis, a typhoon, a hurricane, they suffer. And more than that, they have less capacity to bounce back. When they have to rebuild their lives, they are in deep difficulties. So clearly the vulnerable segments of our society, women, the people who live in the coastal areas, those who live in the less well-protected neighborhoods of our cities, the slum dwellers, those are the people who suffer most. Violence, poverty and inequality, and climate change come together, regrettably, in a triad of challenges of our century. And they are correlated. Climate change affects the poor disproportionately. Violence is usually triggered and exacerbated by fight around natural resources, like in dry lands, lack of water. And lack of water has again, everything to do with climate change. So there is a bad, vicious circle around these three threats of our century. Small island development states are the hardest hit. These are the countries that are more at risk, at vital risk, literally at the risk of disappearing if the glaciers melt, if the waters rise. Given that they live 3 meters above the sea, that is not unimaginable anymore to see the sea levels rise above the levels where they have their houses, their cities, the entire archipelagos where they live. Protection of the coastal areas is extremely important, protecting the jobs of the fishermen who are the bread earners of their fishing villages, of their communities. Poor people are more dependent than the rest of us on natural resources. A development process that protects the environment is also a development process that takes them into account, that lifts them above the poverty line. Disaster risk reduction, prevention, awareness, knowledge, building back better once we have faced a critical event that has destroyed a neighborhood. From reducing emissions to protecting the seas to biodiversity, there's a very, very large amount of actions that can be developed.